Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and I'm in the pool. I'm in a pool, and you got the Rolex bath here. All right, guys, this is the Rolex bath, and it's about as close as you can get to bathing in a Submariner. That's right. You've got some slides. Pretty fun place. Now, if you've watched my live show, you know what watch I took. This watch here, I've never even really acknowledged having this watch, never done a review of it. So let's take it off and assess it. Now, of course, I could have gone more high-end watch, but here's the deal. You got to worry about the watch, and that's not so much it. I mean, do I think in 2021 all of my Rolex watches or Tudor watches could handle water? Absolutely, but I'm thinking 5 years down the road and 10 years down the road. And so if you're taking your Rolex or Tudor in a pool in chlorine in 2021, that's going to have implications 5 years or 10 years down the road. I mean, you might need to have it serviced sooner. So if you're looking to stretch out those intervals, then I think it's kind of a good idea to take those watches in water when they need to be taken in water. When you're on a trip, you're at the beach, you're in another country, and you see a watering hole in the jungle and you decide to take a swim, you keep it on your wrist, all right? But to purposely wear it here when, I could just switch it out, what was the point, all right? So looking at this watch, I mean, this is a Quartz watch, and I think when it comes to watches, there are many different levels, but the ultimate is a metal mechanical watch. And then second, in my opinion, would be a metal quartz. Something with a really nice movement, like a Grand Seiko with a 9F quartz. I mean, I like those so much, I've thought about adding one, but really I have the Timex Q for that. And, it would give me that analog quartz, something really nice, but, really the Timex Q kind of fills that spot, and to spend thousands to make that happen, don't really feel the need to do it. And then you've got plasticky watches like this, but they're analog, all right? And I think this is a step up from the plasticky Casios that are digital. I mean, look, those have their own set of advantages. I mean, tons of functions, countdown timer and world time and alarms and stopwatches and many, many other things. But I mean, like, aesthetically. So for me, I think this is a little bit better just because you have that, you have those physical objects, and I'm talking about the hands on the watch moving, and it just is a little bit more satisfying. Now, looking at this watch, I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but kind of a cool aspect of it is a solar-powered watch, which means it could go forever, but this is a throwaway item. I mean, it's got plastic crystal here, and when I say plastic crystal, I don't mean like acrylic, I mean like plastic. So this is one of those watches you could wear year after year, make tons of memories with it, and at the end of the day, there's gonna come a point when you just need to throw it away. Probably the band's gonna crack first, but then it's just gonna stop working. And I mean, it's plastic through and through, aside from, I don't know, maybe just the spring bars and the case back. Really, everything else is plastic, and including the buckle here. So it's 10 bars water resistant, no screw down crown. In fact, it pops right out. It's got a date. I like the way that the date is framed in red. The red accents are really nice on the watch. It's got a rotating bezel, which is really nice. This is bi-directional. And it's great because, you can just mark times. I was marking a train time for my daughter. I was editing a movie on my phone, and I just sort of marked the time and said, if you want to know when we get off, it's right here. And I just gave her the watch, and she held on to it and could see that minute hand slowly making its way to the triangle, right? Which is all lined up right now. When it comes to the hands, they are attractive. Minute hand and hour hand are sword hands. They're a little bit stubby. I think they could reach out a little bit further. Of all of the hands, I think my favorite is the second hand. It's red, so ties in with those red accents, and it's got a little loom tip. Again, it can stretch out a little bit further. As far as the texture on the dial, well, that has to do with the solar powered aspect of it, and I like that. You know, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of minute markers around the rehaut. It's a way to maximize space, and you know, Seiko 5s, the current ones, do that. I'm not a big fan of that. But it's kind of interesting that the indices sort of start on the rehaut and then reach into the dial. Now, the odd ones are a little bit longer, the even ones, because the numerals are a little bit shorter. I think that might be kind of nice. Now, I wonder if having them all the same size would be all right, and then just moving those Roman numerals, the even ones, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12, in a little bit. Probably not. They probably got it right, but I'm just, you know, saying if you wanted to keep those indices the same size. You know, watches that have the 3, 6, 9, and sometimes the 12 are kind of interesting, as are the ones that have the even numerals, you know, something like this, the 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Gives balance to the dial. It's something a little bit different. It's not a Rolex thing at all. For that reason, I prefer the 3, 6, 9 dials. But, you know, this isn't trying to be a Rolex, so it's fine. And as far as the lightness of it, it's a really light watch. It's an incredibly comfortable watch. I want to say this is probably about 43 millimeters. It's big. You know, it makes for a good watch when you need a watch you really just don't care about. I mean, if you're heading to the slums and there's like an 80% chance your watch is going to be taken off your wrist, okay, this is what you would wear. I want to say I paid like 20 bucks for this watch, and I paid for it in points that I got when I bought my P Serial GMT. So it's, you know, it's a throwaway watch, but it's analog, and that's kind of nice, and just gives it a little bit something that, see, some G-Shocks don't have that are totally digital. All right, so here it is on the wrist. It's a functional watch. Is it turning me on as much as having a Rolex would here at the pool? Probably not, but it's doing the job. It's keeping the time. It's more utilitarian than anything else, and I don't have to worry about it. And, you know, I can save those seals and save that water resistance for when I need it, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And, you know, that's what happens when you have multiple Rolexes, like myself, and you get kind of cheap with the servicing intervals. You kind of want to stretch them out. And that's one reason I like the idea of having just one Rolex watch, having it serviced every 2 years, and just wearing the hell out of it. Now, knowing me, if I had one Rolex, I would not have it serviced every 2 years. I'd stretch out the intervals of that watch as well. But yeah, if you've got multiple Rolexes, then stretching out those service intervals might be a good idea. You know, save a buck, right? So there you go. Let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.